In the deadly world of Squid Game, survival is only half the story. As Season 3 looms, whispers of returning players grow louder. Some alive, some presumed dead, and some possibly manipulated into silence. In this deep dive, we uncover who might come back, why, and what it could mean for the next round of the game. Make sure you're subscribed because this game is far from over. He won the game. He walked away with 45.6 billion won. But Song Gi-hun never truly left. When Season 1 ended, we saw a man torn between freedom and vengeance. Season 2 is expected to show his first steps toward infiltration. But in Season 3, Gi-hun's return won't just be about revenge. It will be a test of whether winning the game stripped him of his soul or sharpened his will to destroy it. Player 456 will no longer be the innocent we once knew. He's changed. His red-dyed hair in the final scene of Season 1 symbolized this transformation, from survivor to hunter. In Season 3, Gi-hun may be forced to return as a participant, not just a saboteur. The very system he's trying to dismantle could trap him back inside its maze of blood and betrayal. But what makes Gi-hun's return chilling isn't just his determination. It's the emotional weight he carries. Every player we thought was gone still lives in his mind. Whether it's 𝐕𝐝𝐞's quiet strength, Sungwoo's final sacrifice, or Ali's heartbreaking betrayal, these ghosts are part of him now. And in a game where strategy is king, emotions are either your greatest weapon or your downfall. What makes this arc powerful is the psychological twist. Imagine a game designed specifically for him. A game that tests not just his survival skills, but his memories, his guilt, and his loyalty. What if some players are connected to the ones he couldn't save? What if one looks like 𝐕𝐝𝐞? Or worse, what if one claims to be her? As the only known survivor actively pursuing the truth, Gi-hun isn't just a player, he's a threat, a liability. And in a world that runs on silence, he may find that the game is now playing him. One thing is certain, when player 456 steps into the arena again, he's not just fighting to survive, he's fighting for redemption. And that might be deadlier than death itself. She was the soul of the game, fierce, quiet, and broken. 𝐀𝐛𝐨𝐿, player 067, didn't win, but she left a mark no victor ever could. Her death in Season 1 was tragic and final. Or was it? In a series where identity, power, and manipulation are everything, the possibility of her return isn't just fan service. It's a strategic narrative twist. The theory isn't that 𝐕𝐝𝐞 survived, but that she had a sister. One we've never met, until now. 𝐕𝐝𝐞's entire arc revolved around her brother. But tucked within her story was a subtle clue. References to other family in North Korea, including a possible older sister, a sibling she believed was dead or left behind. What if this unknown sister is drawn into the next game, either by choice or force, carrying not just the resemblance of 067, but the rage of loss? Imagine the tension. Gi-hun, still haunted by 𝐕𝐝𝐞, suddenly sees someone who looks like her, talks like her, even moves like her. But this woman isn't quiet, calculating, or calm. She's volatile, she's angry, she wants answers. And she might blame Gi-hun for not saving her sister. This new character could serve a dual purpose, giving the audience a sense of 𝐕𝐝𝐞's presence while introducing a player with an entirely different moral compass. Where 𝐕𝐝𝐞 was cautious and tactical, her sister could be reckless and emotionally driven, creating unpredictable friction in the game's dynamics. But there's a darker angle. What if she's not a sister but a plant, a fabricated memory, a body double created to destabilize Gi-hun? After all, the game's organizers have every reason to target him psychologically. And what better way than through the one person he still wishes he could have saved? Whether it's bloodline or manipulation, the return of a 𝐕𝐝𝐞 lookalike would not only unnerve Gi-hun, it would unsettle the viewers. In Squid Game, identity is fragile, and death is not always the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning of the next play. He was the golden boy from SNU, a financial prodigy turned fraud and the man who would betray his closest friend to survive. 𝐀𝐛�𝐿, player 218, died in the final game, but what if he didn't? On the surface, his death seemed definitive. A self-inflicted blade to the neck, a final moment of guilt, a last desperate gesture of redemption. But Squid Game doesn't thrive on simplicity. It thrives on manipulation, misdirection, and the illusion of choice. Let's break the scene. There were no witnesses except Gi-hun and the game staff. The moment Sang-woo fell, he became a perfect martyr, a villain with a tragic end. But what if it was orchestrated? What if, like certain VIPs and enforcers, he was offered a second path? One that the audience never saw? Sang-woo's mind was his deadliest weapon. He wasn't the strongest or fastest, but he understood systems, rules, weaknesses. That made him valuable. The kind of man the game's architects could use, why not eliminate? Now imagine this. A new player enters Season 3. Cold, calculated, eerily familiar in speech and posture. Maybe his face is hidden beneath a mask. Maybe he's operating behind the scenes, as a designer, not a participant. Then, slowly the truth unravels. He never died. He joined them. This return wouldn't be a simple, he's alive twist. It would be a moral gut punch. Gi-hun, already battling the system, now faces the ultimate betrayal. His childhood friend didn't sacrifice himself. He switched sides. Alternatively, even if Sang-woo is truly dead, his influence could still return. A family member, perhaps his mother, could be forced into the next round. Or a new player who idolized him, inspired by his ruthless logic, might carry on his philosophy inside the arena. Either path creates the same effect. His shadow looms large over the game. Sang-woo's return in body or spirit wouldn't just stir Gi-hun's past, it would challenge his future. Because if the smartest man in the game decided that winning wasn't enough, what hope does Rebellion have? She wasn't the strongest, the smartest, or the most strategic. But Han Min-yo, player 212, was unpredictable, untamed, and absolutely unforgettable. Her exit in Season 1 was as dramatic as her presence. Clinging to 𝐷𝐸𝐽 as they both plunged to their deaths, she left on her own terms. But what if her final act of defiance wasn't the end, but an introduction? No body was shown, no aftermath was revealed. And in a game where spectacle often matters more than truth, her death may have been assumed, not confirmed. If Han Min-yo were to return in Season 3, it wouldn't be for redemption, it would be for chaos. She doesn't follow rules, she exploits them. She uses emotion, sexuality, manipulation, and madness as weapons. And if the organizers saw her potential as more than just entertainment, they may have chosen to keep her alive for future use, perhaps even groomed her into a new kind of role. Now imagine the next game beginning. The players are wary, quiet, tense. Then she enters, loud, laughing, claiming she never left. No one knows if she's telling the truth, or if she even knows the truth herself. But there's a darker theory. What if she isn't the same Min-yo? What if someone copied her persona? This psychological strategy would blur the line between homage and horror. Because whether it's the real Min-yo or a calculated impersonation, the effect is the same. No one in the game would feel safe. Not from violence, not from betrayal, not from unpredictability. And Gi-hun, already unraveling from past traumas, would find in her a symbol of everything the game represents: manipulation, spectacle, and the exploitation of the desperate. In a game built on control, she's the one piece that can't be contained. And if she returns, the rules won't matter. The only rule will be survive her. No betrayal in Squid Game was more devastating than his. Ali Abdul fought player 199, trusted when he shouldn't have, believed when he had nothing left, and died with the purest heart of all. Sang-woo's deception ended Ali's life in silence, and viewers around the world never forgave it. But what if the game didn't either? Ali's return wouldn't be just emotional, it would be tactical. The game doesn't only reward the ruthless, it studies the good. And Ali's unwavering loyalty, His physical strength and his emotional impact on both the players and the audience make him the perfect subject for replication. This opens two chilling possibilities. The first, Ali survived. Unlikely but not impossible. If his death was faked for Sang-woo's benefit to manipulate the outcome, then Ali may have been quietly removed and detained. The game could have kept him in isolation, watching, studying, waiting, not to protect him, but to use him in a future round as a psychological trigger. The second, more disturbing theory. Ali has a family. He once mentioned a wife and child. In Season 3, the game may target them. His younger brother or even his son could appear as a new contestant, unaware of the true horror that claimed Ali's life. That bloodline alone would draw in Gi-hun and force him to confront the system that erased a man who never deserved to die. But there's a third twist, one rooted in psychological warfare. A new player enters the arena, kind, gentle, soft-spoken. He helps others, protects the weak. He even resembles Ali in posture, voice, maybe even accent. But he's not Ali. He's a trap, carefully trained to mimic the one man Gi-hun still regrets failing. A human decoy created to break the mind of the only returning winner. Because in Squid Game, the dead don't rest, they echo. And for Gi-hun, facing someone who looks and sounds like Ali may be more unbearable than the game itself. Whether he returns in flesh, in family, or in memory, Ali's presence will haunt the arena once more. Not as a player. As a reminder that in this game, kindness kills. He ruled with fists, fear, and blood. Jang Deok-soo, player 101, wasn't just a thug, he was a force of dominance inside the arena. And though he fell to his death locked in Minyo's arms, his legacy may not be buried as deeply as we think. Deok-soo's character wasn't crafted to win, he was built to test others. His cruelty revealed hidden savagery in quieter players. His presence shattered alliances, tore apart logic, and turned the game into a prison of terror. Which raises one disturbing question. Would the game's creators really let a tool like that disappear? Let's look at the facts. We never saw his body after the fall. No staff removed it. No confirmation of death was presented. If Squid Game thrives on spectacle and psychological torment, Deok-soo may have been preserved for future chaos or even recreated. In Season 3, his return doesn't have to be literal. A new player could be modeled after him. A cartel enforcer, a gangland heir, someone with the same thirst for dominance. But this time, the violence is calculated. Less rage, more precision. A smarter Deok-soo. One capable of forming temporary alliances only to betray them with surgical brutality. Or worse, what if Deok-soo never truly left? What if the fall didn't kill him but severely injured him? He returns now, physically broken, mentally twisted, and blaming everyone for his downfall, especially Gi-hun, especially the game. In a world where spectacle is everything, Deok-soo's survival would be a powerful message. The game doesn't kill its monsters, it rehabilitates them for future use. This type of return would reintroduce real fear into the arena. Not the fear of losing, but the fear of being hunted. Players wouldn't just be calculating odds, they'd be hiding, retreating, turning on each other early. Because when someone like player 101 is on the board, the game becomes his playground. And there you have it. The players who may return in Squid Game Season 3, whether in flesh, in memory, or through twisted reinvention. If you're as curious and unsettled as we are, make sure to subscribe for more deep dive theories, breakdowns, and everything Squid Game as Season 3 approaches.